Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Nicole Alford here, C-section recovery coach. Baby Amara is here too. She's 5 months officially postpartum. Thought it would come live in the group just to share some insight. Lots of questions coming through lately. Share some insight on what I've experienced through C-section, 3 C-sections, and also as a C-section recovery coach and perinatal massage therapist for the last 20 years. So, 3 things that you need to heal quickly after a C-section. The first one, and I think this one's really important and it's overlooked, is digestion. You need proper digestion. You need your organs working. Otherwise, it can cause a lot of gas backup, a lot of constipation, and that just adds to more discomfort in your lower abdomen. It also adds to just not feeling great. It'd be more lethargic just because you're backed up, and it can cause you more difficulties later in your recovery. Like after my first, I was constipated for like 3 months, and I thought, like, when is this ever going to end? So some of the things that I was advised by my naturopathic doctor was to like take in baby prunes, those like squeeze packs. I was taking one like every couple of hours, those first couple of days after my C-section. And also magnesium citrate was a really important one, and also vitamin C. And the doses just depend on what's recommended to you. So if you want to know specific dosages, you'd have to contact either your health food store or naturopath. I can't advise on that. And then the other thing too is like avoiding straws, because that's going to cause gas buildup. And movement. Movement's really important to help you with your digestion. Lots of water, and then eating like really, really simple foods like bone broth, which is really nutritious for you as you're healing from surgery. You got all that, those nutrients to help you build back your blood, to build you back your tissue, like all that collagen. It's also really simple and easy for you to, if you make it not like crazy hot, you can actually just like sip it out of a cup like I did in those first couple of days. Definitely eating foods that are cooked, that are warm. These things are just a lot easier rather than like raw foods. Definitely stay away from like refined sugars and highly processed foods, because that's just going to be, again, really hard for you to digest. You have to remember during a C-section, your organs kind of slow down, and now they have to kind of turn back on again. And so you want to just give them the most simple things to use. With both of my planned C-sections, I pooped the next day and passed gas in the hospital. And I'm very proud of that, because I work hard on making sure that that happens, because I know the other way, which is being constipated for like months, and it's just not fun. And it's not just something you do in the first 2 days. You have to keep this up, right? Those first at least 6 weeks is just eating really clean, and not perfect, obviously. I had chocolate here and there, but just trying to eat clean those first couple of weeks just to get your digestion going, to avoid more pain and discomfort in that lower abdomen, and also long-term constipation, which is not fun. The second thing is making sure that your incision closes. So you want to make sure that your tissue, the outside layer of your scar, of your incision, closes. And the reason is because, and this happens to so many people that come to me that have open wounds, is because it takes 6 to 8 weeks for tissue to close. That first layer is going to close first because of avoiding infection, right? Your body's so smart. It wants to avoid any infection, any intruders coming in. So it closes that first one. And then as those 8 weeks progress, you start slowly healing from the inside, so your uterus layer, all the way up to that skin layer. And so if your outside layer opens, that barrier that was created by your body to protect it opens, you're going to have an open wound for 6 to 8 weeks. And it could take longer if it gets infected. There's just things that we don't know. And so, out of just ignorance, we, mistreat our bodies in postpartum. There's also this expectation that, oh, you've had a baby, you're fine now. It's been a couple of weeks. And the reality is no, it takes, anyone who's vaginally delivered 6 weeks. And so if you think about someone who's had a C-section, it takes even longer for your body to recover and recoup after major abdominal surgery. Some of you had been in labor for so many hours, like I was with my first. And also you were pregnant, right? And so all of these things have an effect on the body. So we need to just let go of that notion or thought that you're going to be back to normal just in a couple of weeks. You could go back to your regular things, up and out of the house, even, pain level, right? Like if you don't have pain, like I did with this one, I was out of pain by day 5 because I knew what I was doing and I followed the right method and movements and plan. I had to be careful. I had to be careful because of not having pain to kind of guide me and stop me from doing too much. You lose that. So you have to then look at blood loss, right? Like how much blood am I losing in my pad? You also just have to just know logically, like I've had major abdominal surgery. I'm not going to be going up and down 5 million times, on week 2. You're just slowly building, building, building. But if you do too much, if you're lifting too soon, if you're bending too soon, if you're up and on your feet for too many hours in those first couple of weeks, you definitely can open your incision, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Okay. The next thing for caring for it is, shower every day. If you have a shower head that comes off, warm soapy water, flowing over the incision to clean it out. Do not pat it dry with anything. Use the blow dryer on the cool setting. It's great. It's easy. Oh, it's okay. And then allowing it to air out as much as possible when you are laying down and resting, because you should be doing that in those first couple of weeks, a lot of resting. I probably didn't start spending full days downstairs in my house until at least like 3-4 weeks, probably 3 weeks. So those first 2 weeks, I was pretty much upstairs and then coming down here and there. And then the last thing is, but first, we have a class happening, 3 ways to take control of your recovery. It's a free live class that I'm doing to help guide you in knowing exactly what to do to focus on. I share my story. I share my client stories on what we actually did to get over, the recovery roller coaster, to have a plan, to know exactly what to follow and what to do to heal quickly after a C-section. Even if you are up to 18 months, I would say, after a C-section, and you're still dealing with things like back pain, leaking pee, birth trauma, this class is for you. So back to that last thing. The last one is functional movements. And so many people, send me messages that, how do I get back to exercise? I want to start working out. I'm feeling weak. I don't know what to do, or I'm in pain now. We have clients that have worked with us that they're in pain after working out. The doctor told them to go back to regular activities at 6 weeks, which is such a false statement. You should not be going regular activities at 6 weeks. And it's because they didn't focus on posture, on building back their functional movements. They weren't teaching their body how to move again. They just literally were like, okay, I'm just going to get up and go, and I'm just going to lift, and I'm just going to do all these things. Well, your body was already in an altered state before pregnancy, before your birth. You were pregnant. And so already your biomechanics would have been thrown off. Your gait, like your walking, would have been thrown off a little bit different. You have that waddle, that penguin waddle we like to joke about with pregnant women at the end. But also when you're after a C-section in that very forward, flexed, hunched, protective posture, and then you're taking care of a baby constantly, you can get really stuck there. And you're sitting so much and laying in bed so much. So you really got to teach your body how to build back that strength again with functional movements and focusing on maintaining good posture. Oh my God, so many times, even now at 5 months postpartum, I'd be walking the stroller and I notice I'm just kind of hunched down because I'm constantly holding her. And I have to mindfully remind myself to push my shoulders back and kind of bring my rib cage back up again. And these are all things that I've done to train myself, right? This is not just I just randomly remember. It's when I start to notice these triggers and when I start to notice these little, discomforts happening in my body, it's always a sign okay, something's going on. Let's just kind of look back. How am I lifting my baby? How am I getting up off the floor? Am I doing my stretches? All of these things, right? So this is what's really, really important as far as building that foundation back after a C-section with strength, with biomechanics, before you start working on your core or working out or anything like that. So let me know below if you want to come to that class. Drop the word class below in the chat, and I will send you the link to sign up for our free webinar that's happening next Wednesday. I'd love to see you there. You're going to be also getting a gift from me. It's our core guide after a C-section. I'm going to be talking to you about how to actually navigate for recovery and how to get started with that after having a C-section, because a lot of the information that's out there on the internet about ab rehab is very focused for people who've delivered vaginally. And that's a huge difference. They didn't have a big incision and major surgery on their abdomen. So it's a very different approach. And so I'm going to be giving you that guide if you come to our class. So make sure you sign up, drop the word class below. I will send you the link. And yeah, those 3 things are really the most important things we need to focus on: digestion, getting that started, making sure we're not backing things up, we're not increasing gas. The second thing was making sure your incision closes properly. And then the third thing is functional movements, making sure you're building back your posture and teaching your body how to move again with purpose and in the proper way, so that you don't develop bad habits and injure yourself. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.